Every year, the world produces more than 70 million tons of aluminum, a metal so light, strong, and versatile that it has become essential for airplanes, cars, buildings, packaging, and modern technology. But here's the part most people never see. Aluminum doesn't come out of the ground as shiny metal. It begins as a dull white powder called alumina, which must be transformed inside massive smelting plants using enormous amounts of electricity and extreme heat. In these facilities, rows of glowing furnaces stretch for hundreds of meters, silently converting mineral powder into rivers of liquid metal. Today, we're stepping inside a supergiant aluminum smelting plant to discover how alumina is turned into pure aluminum in one of the most powerful industrial processes on Earth. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our deep dive documentaries into the hidden industries that power modern civilization. Aluminum is one of the most abundant elements in the Earth's crust, yet it rarely exists as pure metal. Instead, it is found inside a reddish rock called bauxite, which forms through millions of years of tropical weathering. Bauxite itself is not aluminum metal, but a mixture of aluminum-rich minerals. To extract usable aluminum, this rock must first be refined into alumina, a fine white powder composed primarily of aluminum oxide. Once alumina has been produced at refining plants, it is transported to aluminum smelters, enormous industrial complexes designed to convert this powder into molten metal. Smelting aluminum requires extraordinary amounts of electricity, which is why these plants are often located near large power sources such as hydroelectric dams or major energy grids. The smelting process used around the world today is known as the Hall-Héroult process, a technology that has remained fundamentally unchanged since it was invented in 1886. Despite its age, it remains the only practical way to produce aluminum at industrial scale. Inside the smelter building, the first thing visitors notice is the scale. Long rows of rectangular furnaces, known as reduction cells or pots, stretch across huge halls, sometimes more than half a kilometer long. Each pot operates continuously for years at temperatures exceeding 950 degrees Celsius. These cells are filled with a molten electrolyte made primarily from cryolite, a mineral that helps dissolve alumina and lower its melting point. Without cryolite, the temperature required to melt aluminum oxide would be far too high for industrial equipment to handle. Alumina powder is gradually fed into these pots from storage silos above. When the powder enters the molten bath, it dissolves into the electrolyte, forming a mixture ready for electrolysis. Electrolysis is the heart of aluminum smelting. Massive electrical currents, so sometimes more than 300,000 amperes, pass through each pot. Carbon anodes suspended above the liquid act as the positive electrodes, while the bottom of the pot serves as the negative electrode. When electricity flows through the bath, a powerful chemical reaction begins. The aluminum oxide breaks apart. Oxygen atoms combine with the carbon anodes, forming carbon dioxide gas, while pure aluminum atoms separate and sink to the bottom of the pot as molten metal. Over time, a pool of liquid aluminum slowly accumulates beneath the electrolyte. This glowing metal is incredibly pure, typically more than 99% aluminum. Operators monitor the cells carefully because the process must remain stable at all times. Sensors track temperature, voltage, and chemical composition inside each pot. Automated systems adjust the feeding of alumina to maintain the correct balance. If the concentration of alumina becomes too low, the electrical reaction can become unstable, so precision control is essential. Every few hours, specialized vacuum crucibles known as tapping machines arrive to collect the molten aluminum. A pipe is lowered into the pot, and suction draws the liquid metal into insulated containers. The aluminum emerges at nearly 960 degrees Celsius, glowing bright orange. These crucibles are transported to casting areas within the plant. Here, the molten aluminum is poured into molds to create large ingots, billets, or slabs, depending on the intended use. Some aluminum is cast into massive rectangular blocks weighing several tons each. Others are formed into cylindrical billets that will later be extruded into structural shapes. Still others are cast into rolling slabs used to manufacture aluminum sheets for automotive panels, beverage cans, and aircraft components. The cooling process transforms the molten metal into solid aluminum ready for further manufacturing. As the metal cools, its crystalline structure forms, giving it the strength and flexibility required for industrial applications. Aluminum's unique properties make it one of the most valuable materials in modern engineering. It weighs roughly 1/3 as much as steel, yet maintains excellent strength when alloyed with other elements. It resists corrosion naturally thanks to a thin oxide layer that forms on its surface. It also conducts heat and electricity efficiently, making it useful for power transmission and electronics. These characteristics explain why aluminum appears in almost every sector of modern life. Aircraft frames rely on aluminum alloys to reduce weight and improve fuel efficiency. Cars increasingly use aluminum components to lower emissions and extend electric vehicle range. Beverage cans are almost entirely aluminum because the metal is lightweight and easy to recycle. Perhaps most importantly, aluminum is infinitely recyclable. Unlike many materials, it can be melted and reused repeatedly without losing its quality. Recycling aluminum requires only about 5% of the energy needed to produce new metal from alumina. This makes aluminum recycling one of the most efficient material cycles in the world. However, producing primary aluminum from alumina remains essential to meet global demand. New aluminum is required for expanding infrastructure, renewable energy systems, transportation, and technology. The scale of an aluminum smelting plant reflects this enormous demand. Some facilities operate hundreds of reduction cells simultaneously, producing hundreds of thousands of tons of aluminum each year. Entire teams of engineers, electricians, and operators work around the clock to keep the process running smoothly. Power consumption is the single largest cost in aluminum smelting. A typical smelter uses as much electricity as a medium-sized city. For this reason, many smelters are located near hydroelectric power stations where renewable energy can supply the vast electrical needs. Environmental management is also a major focus of modern aluminum plants. Advanced filtration systems capture emissions from the reduction cells. Waste heat is monitored and controlled. New technologies aim to reduce carbon emissions by replacing traditional carbon anodes with alternative materials. Research is ongoing to make aluminum production even cleaner and more efficient. Engineers are exploring inert anode technology that could eliminate carbon dioxide emissions from the smelting process entirely. If successful, this innovation could dramatically reduce the environmental footprint of aluminum production worldwide. Despite these challenges, aluminum remains one of the most important metals of the modern era. Its combination of strength, lightness, recyclability, and corrosion resistance makes it indispensable across countless industries. The journey from alumina powder to molten aluminum is one of the most fascinating transformations in heavy industry. What begins as a mineral derived from ancient rock ultimately becomes the material that shapes airplanes, vehicles, buildings, and everyday products. Inside these giant smelting plants, thousands of tons of alumina are quietly converted into liquid metal every day. The process is intense, energy-hungry, and technologically complex, yet it is also one of the foundational systems that keep the modern world moving. If you enjoyed this journey inside a giant aluminum smelting plant, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our next exploration into the powerful industrial processes behind the materials we use every day. Thanks for watching. And remember, sometimes the most extraordinary transformations begin with something as simple as powder turning into liquid metal.
With trillions of dollars flowing through the global economy every year, there is one material that quietly holds together some of the world's most advanced industries. From aerospace to medicine, from construction to clean energy. Diamonds. Not the kind locked inside jewelry stores, but massive industrial diamonds, some larger than a human fist, mined, crushed, sorted, and engineered to cut, drill, polish, and shape the modern world. Very few people realize this. Over 99% of all diamonds mined globally are not used for jewelry. They are used by industry. These diamonds drill through mountains, slice solid steel, polish semiconductor wafers, sharpen surgical tools, and manufacture the technology we depend on every single day. Today, we're stepping inside the giant diamond mining and processing operations that extract, sort, and transform Earth's hardest material, revealing the astonishing industrial system that turns raw stones buried miles underground into the invisible backbone of modern civilization. Diamonds may look small, but their role in the global economy is enormous. Industrial diamonds are used in oil and gas drilling, mining and tunneling, aerospace manufacturing, medical equipment, electronics and semiconductors, construction and infrastructure. In fact, nearly every skyscraper, bridge, smartphone, aircraft, and power plant depends on diamond tools at some stage of production. Without diamonds, modern manufacturing would slow to a crawl. Every year, the world produces over 140 million carats of diamonds, and the vast majority are designated for industrial use. Unlike gem-quality diamonds, industrial diamonds are valued not for beauty, but for hardness, thermal conductivity, and durability. They can cut materials no other substance can touch. But diamonds don't begin their journey as precision tools. They begin deep inside the earth. Natural diamonds form under extreme pressure and heat, more than 90 miles beneath the Earth's surface. Carbon atoms are compressed for billions of years, eventually crystallizing into diamond. Volcanic eruptions then carry these diamonds upward through narrow channels called kimberlite pipes, depositing them closer to the surface. Today, giant diamond mining operations exist in places like Botswana, South Africa, Canada, Russia, Australia. Some of the world's largest open-pit diamond mines are so massive they are visible from space. But mining diamonds is not about delicacy, it's about scale. At industrial diamond mines, operations resemble massive earth-moving projects, rather than traditional mining. The first step is removing overburden, the layers of soil and rock above the diamond-bearing kimberlite. Electric shovels and hydraulic excavators scoop up hundreds of tons of rock per hour. Loading it into haul trucks the size of small houses. Each truck can carry 300 to 400 tons of material in a single trip. Day and night, these trucks move in endless loops, hauling raw kimberlite to crushing plants located near the pit. Only a tiny fraction of that rock contains diamonds, but the system is designed to handle it all. Once the kimberlite arrives at the processing plant, the real work begins. The goal is simple: break down the rock without damaging the diamonds inside. This is a delicate balance. Diamonds are incredibly hard, but they can fracture if struck incorrectly. So instead of explosive crushing, plants use controlled mechanical processes. Massive jaw crushers break boulders into manageable chunks. Cone crushers reduce the rock further. Then, rotating mills grind the material down until diamonds can be separated. Every step is monitored. Sensors track pressure, vibration, and particle size, ensuring maximum diamond recovery with minimal damage. Once crushed, the material enters one of the most fascinating stages of the entire process: diamond separation. Because diamonds are denser than most surrounding rock, separation begins using dense media separation tanks. The crushed material is mixed with a heavy slurry. Lighter waste rock floats. Heavier particles, including diamonds, sink. Diamonds fluoresce under X-rays, lighting up instantly, while surrounding rock remains dark. Automated ejectors fire bursts of air, separating diamonds at incredible speeds. Some systems can process hundreds of tons of material per hour, identifying diamonds in milliseconds. This is where technology meets geology. Once recovered, diamonds are not immediately valuable. They must be sorted. Gem-quality stones are rare. The vast majority are classified as industrial grade. But industrial grade does not mean low value. Some of the largest, toughest diamonds are worth more to industry than flawless gemstones. These diamonds will never be worn. They are destined to work. Industrial diamonds are processed in specialized facilities that resemble precision engineering labs. First, stones are cleaned, inspected, and measured. Then comes shaping. Using diamond-on-diamond cutting techniques, larger stones are split into usable segments. Laser cutting systems slice diamonds with micron-level precision. These pieces are then ground into specific geometries depending on their final application. Nothing is wasted. Even diamond dust is captured and reused. In industrial tool factories, diamonds are bonded into metal matrices using extreme heat and pressure. For drill bits, diamond segments are embedded into steel crowns. For cutting blades, diamond particles are sintered into precise patterns. For polishing, diamonds are crushed into powders measured in microns. Each tool is engineered for a specific purpose. Some must withstand thousands of pounds of pressure. Others must endure extreme heat and friction. Before leaving the factory, tools are tested under real-world conditions: drilling solid rock, slicing reinforced concrete, or polishing hardened steel. Only the strongest pass. Modern diamond processing plants operate with extraordinary precision. Robotic arms handle stones to eliminate human error. AI-based vision systems inspect diamonds for microfractures invisible to the human eye. Computer models simulate stress patterns, predicting how a diamond will behave under load. Every stone is tracked. Every cut is recorded. Every tool is optimized. This level of control allows manufacturers to push diamonds to their absolute limits, safely. As the world demands more infrastructure, energy, and technology, the need for industrial diamonds continues to grow. Renewable energy projects rely on diamond drilling. Electric vehicle batteries require diamond-polished components. Semiconductors demand atomic-level smoothness, achievable only with diamond abrasives. Even medical advancements depend on diamond-coated instruments for precision surgery. Diamonds are no longer symbols of luxury. They are tools of progress. Diamond mining is energy-intensive, but modern operations are becoming more efficient. Industrial diamonds also reduce environmental impact elsewhere. Diamond tools last longer, they cut faster, they reduce waste. In many cases, using diamonds lowers total environmental damage across entire industries, from the roads we drive on, to the buildings we live in, to the technology in our hands. Diamonds work quietly behind the scenes, cutting, shaping, drilling, and polishing the world into existence. They are not glamorous, they are not celebrated. But without them, modern civilization would grind to a halt. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the hidden world of industrial diamond mining and processing, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more journeys into the unseen systems that power our modern world. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay curious.